Welcome to the journey of exploring one of the oldest and most mysterious cities in the world, Gaza. This place is not only a part of human history but also a profound spiritual symbol, mentioned in the Bible and ancient texts. Once the center of Canaanite civilization and the battleground between the Philistines and Israel, Gaza holds stories buried by time, memories of a border between the Promised Land and pagan forces. In this video, we will unveil Gaza's turbulent history and explore why this city remains a powerful reminder of resilience and faith through millennia. If you love history and spiritual mysteries, don't forget to like to support us and subscribe to the channel to not miss out on upcoming fascinating videos. Let's begin the journey now. Gaza, with a history of over 3,500 years, was once a Canaanite settlement and is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. But beyond its historical value, this city also holds profound layers of sacred meaning. In sacred texts, Gaza is depicted as a physical boundary marking the Promised Land granted by God to the Israelites, as well as a symbolic boundary representing the trials and temptations of pagan forces. Gaza first appears in the Bible as an essential part of God's covenant with the patriarch Abraham, marking the sacred boundary of the Promised Land. This city, located at the southwesternmost point of Canaan, was an important landmark along the Mediterranean coast. In Genesis 15:18-21, the Lord said, "To your descendants I give this land from the river of Egypt to the great river the Euphrates, the land of the Kenites, Kenizzites, Cadmonites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaim, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites." Gaza became part of the divine promise, embodying the will of the Almighty and the deep connection between the Israelites and the Holy Land. Throughout history, control over Gaza shifted between the Canaanite tribes, the Philistines, the Egyptians, and the Israelites, each time adding a new chapter to the story of this city. However, the spiritual significance of Gaza never faded. It remains a symbol of a boundary not only in geography, but also in faith, where generations are called to remember the covenant and their loyalty to God. More than just a place, Gaza represents the bond between humanity and the divine will. Just as Abraham traveled through Canaan as an act of faith, this city reminds us of the eternal values in our journey to seek and preserve the sacred. It is in Gaza that the vastness of the promise and the limits of covenant responsibility intertwine, forming a symbol never forgotten in the course of human history. Beyond its role as a geographical and spiritual boundary in the Bible, Gaza also carries a deeper significance as the origin of challenges that threaten the Israelites. This city is associated with renowned figures in biblical legend, such as the giant warrior Goliath, a symbol of pagan strength. Although Goliath is identified in the book of 1 Samuel as being from Gath, some other texts suggest he originated from Gaza, reinforcing the image of the city as a Philistine stronghold where threats emerged to confront Israel. In 2 Samuel 21:20-21, another giant from Gath, with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, is described as a descendant of Rapha, and a testament to the formidable forces that once opposed Israel. However, giants like Goliath represented not only physical strength, but also a symbol of pagan adversity, opposing Jewish faith. The battle between David and Goliath, where a young boy overcame a giant warrior, is not only a story of courage but also illustrates the superior power of faith and righteousness in the struggle against godless threats. Gaza also features in another prominent story about Samson, the judge who was captured by the Philistines and brought to the temple of Dagon in Gaza to be humiliated. Though blind and imprisoned, Samson, in Judges 16:23-31, was granted strength by God to bring down the temple of Dagon, killing his oppressors and demonstrating the power of divine will. This event affirms that even in the face of defeat, spiritual strength can turn the tide and bring ultimate victory. Both Goliath and Samson are opposing symbols, representing the larger conflict between the Philistines and the Israelites. Gaza, as the center of Philistine power, is depicted as a symbol of misguided worship and forces opposing God. At the same time, these stories also remind the Israelites that through steadfast faith and divine strength, They can overcome any adversity, no matter how great. Gaza is not only a fortress of the enemy, but also a place that demonstrates the power and loyalty to the one true God. Not only known as the origin of pagan threats, Gaza is also mentioned in the Bible as a landmark near events that clearly manifest God's mercy and divine power towards Israel. This city is not the center of battles, but its proximity to miraculous victory sites has etched Gaza's role in the righteous journey of the Israelites. In the book of Joshua, Gaza is described as being near the site of the Battle of Gibeon, where Joshua led the Israelites to defeat the Amorites with God's direct intervention. According to Joshua 10:11, as the Amorites fled, the Lord hurled large hailstones down on them, and more of them died from the hailstones than were killed by the swords of the Israelites. This was not merely a military victory, but also a clear testament to divine protection, reinforcing the Israelites' faith in God's power during the most perilous times. Gaza appears again in the book of Joshua as the southern boundary of subsequent conquests. After the victory at Hazor, Joshua led his forces to eliminate the oppressive Canaanite powers, acting under God's command. As recorded in Joshua 10:40-41, Joshua conquered from Kadesh Barnea to Gaza and all the region of Goshen to Gibeon. These conquests not only expanded the territory, but also clearly established the boundaries that Israel, under divine guidance, had gained from evil forces. Gaza's role in these stories goes far beyond being a mere geographical location. The city became a symbol of Israel's expansion and consolidation of power, thanks to God's grace. Gaza marks the endpoint of the land controlled by the Israelite civilization, a border beyond which pagan influence still lingered. Through the events near Gaza, the Bible affirms that righteousness, guided by faith and divine intervention, can overcome all trials and challenges from evil forces. Gaza is also known as a strategic trading hub on the Mediterranean coast. Thanks to its prime location, Gaza connected major trade routes from Egypt to Mesopotamia and Mediterranean kingdoms, making it a bustling city with busy ports. Here, merchants and travelers from all over gathered, bringing wealth and cultural influence. However, this cultural diversity and international character also posed spiritual challenges for the Israelites. Prophets like Elijah, Ezekiel, and Zephaniah often condemned Gaza for its role in spreading pagan worship through trade connections. As warned by the prophets, engaging in trade activities with Gaza not only brought economic benefits but also led the Israelites to be tempted away from their faith in the one true God. Therefore, controlling Gaza was not only of military significance, but also symbolized the effort to maintain spiritual purity, resisting secular global influences. In modern history, Gaza's strategic role continues, but in a different context. Since 2005, Gaza has no longer been under Israeli control and has become part of Palestinian territory. After Hamas took control in 2007, the area became a flashpoint of the Israel-Palestine conflict, with ongoing clashes over blockades, rocket fire, and military measures. For Israel, Gaza remains symbolically a vulnerable region, facing strategic and spiritual challenges from beyond its borders. Today, the name Gaza evokes not only images of political conflict, but also a reminder of the long-standing struggle to maintain Israel's unique spiritual identity amidst its inevitable connection to the broader world. These issues remain central in both ancient and modern history, creating a complex link between the past and present of this land. Gaza's rich history provides many profound lessons for our spiritual lives, especially in how we view the relationship between faith and divine blessings. In the Bible, God did not only give the Israelites the land of Canaan, but also extended his promise to farther territories, including regions marked by border cities like Gaza. However, over time, these boundaries were no longer maintained, not because of a lack of land or resources, but due to the decline in faith and unity among the people. Gaza, once a strategic border outpost, gradually became a symbol of lost power, reminding us that divine strength and blessings are not solely based on military or political might. Instead, they are upheld by loyalty, spiritual purity, and a united community devoted to God. As history has shown, only when the Israelites nurtured their faith could they fully live within God's promised boundaries. This lesson still echoes today. The political borders we see now, whether in Gaza or elsewhere, are merely faint reflections of what was destined in divine will. To truly achieve complete blessings, we must walk on the promised land of our lives with steadfast faith, instead of relying solely on worldly solutions. Gaza serves as a reminder that lasting prosperity does not come from material power, but from a strong connection to the will of the Almighty. Gaza in ancient texts is not only a symbol of conflict, but also linked to great spiritual challenges. Once associated with formidable enemies like the idol Dagon, the city represents temptations that draw people away from faith. Today, modern idols, wealth, power, ego, or hatred also promise satisfaction and success, but ultimately bring emptiness and failure. Just as Dagon was overthrown, the false gods of today also easily collapse in the face of true faith. Like David, we must face the giants of our lives with courage and righteousness. A stone guided by God can defeat any obstacle, no matter how great it may be. Gaza serves as a powerful reminder that, even when surrounded by challenges, steadfast faith in God will help us overcome all adversities. Furthermore, Gaza's multicultural history offers an important lesson about the interaction of cultures. The city's ports once welcomed streams of merchants, sailors, and goods from around the world, bringing not only wealth but also ideas and spiritual challenges. Although this exchange sometimes exposed the Israelites to spiritual threats, a closed society cannot thrive. Just like the spices and silk that once arrived at Gaza's ports, diversity brings richness if we maintain our identity and faith. Ultimately, the lesson from Gaza is that a strong people with deep faith do not fear outside influence, but can instead spread their light to transform the world. Gaza reminds us that, even when tested by temptations and external pressures, faith is always the foundation to overcome challenges. Draw near to God and He will draw near to you. We are called to uphold our covenant with the Heavenly Father, living according to the principles He has set forth. For some, Gaza is the root of the current territorial conflict, while others argue that biblical claims are unrelated to the modern situation. Nevertheless, history has deeply embedded the religious significance of this land, not only for Israel, but for the entire region. The prophecies from Zephaniah 2:4 to Isaiah 11:14 describe Gaza as part of major end-time events, where conflict and hope intertwine. Ezekiel 25:15 to 17 even warns of Gaza's destruction, emphasizing that revenge and hatred only bring harm. Yet beyond the dark forecasts, the prophecies concerning Gaza also serve as a powerful reminder of the possibility of reconciliation. While the current situation in Gaza remains complex, with millions living in poverty and ongoing conflict, we must not lose hope. God is heartbroken to see children from both sides, Gazan and Israeli, suffer. If ancient hatred could be replaced by compassion, it would become a bridge to peace. Today, Gaza could once again become a gateway, not between ancient civilizations, but between hearts yearning for reconciliation. Instead of confrontation, we call on political leaders to pave the way for negotiations and build understanding. With compassion, we can help alleviate the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and invest in efforts to build connections between the younger generations on both sides. As descendants of Abraham, both Muslims and Jews have a responsibility to unite, heal the wounds of the past, and cherish their shared heritage in the Holy Land. Gaza, once a symbol of conflict, can become a guiding light for lasting peace, just as ancient lighthouses once guided sailors back to shore. Let this vision ignite our faith so that the light of hope continues to shine even in the darkest moments. As the ancient divine promise tells us, if we do not let go of hope, hope will never let go of us. May God bless and guide us all on this journey, now and forever. Thank you for joining us in exploring the spiritual history and valuable lessons from Gaza. Despite its turbulent past, we believe that the future can be built on the foundation of understanding, reconciliation, and compassion. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about the lessons from Gaza, and what hope do you have for a more peaceful world? If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any upcoming videos. Let's spread the message of faith and peace to more people. May God bless us all, and see you in the next video.